Lorraine, Chris, good afternoon again. Thank you very much for inviting me to your college. This is not my first time, been here before. And already before coming to see you, I've spoken to some of the students, Russian-speaking students obviously, and I'll be honest with you, I am surprised with the feedbacks they have given me, because there were not even one negative feedback. Because there's always usually something little which they don't like. You can't avoid this, because they're away from home, everything is new for them. They homesick, you know. They miss their parents, they miss the foods, traditional, which they used to. These kids were happy with everything. And I know that these interviews were not prepared in advance, so they were very spontaneous, which makes me think, how's it you manage to satisfy your students to that extent? What's your formula?
Well, what we try and do is we try and have a really, really busy time for the students. We work very hard on them practicing their English, but also having fun. If they have
They
fun,
mentioned it, yes, they did.
then they're not going to feel homesick.
I agree. So it's actually sport activities, extra activities they do after classes.
We have sport, we have art, we have drama, we have a reading club for the younger ones.
Okay.
So that they are doing so many things that actually, when they go to bed, they go straight to sleep.
Really?
Because they are so busy.
And they go to bed roughly at 9 o'clock, isn't it?
Somewhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, depending on whether they're at 8:30 for the younger ones, so we're talking up to the age of sort of 11, 9 o'clock for sort of 11 to 14-year-olds, and then 10 o'clock up to 17 years old.
And they did also mention that the atmosphere here within the school is very friendly. It's like almost a family feel-like atmosphere. Is this what you're aiming for?
Yes, we're aiming to be a stepping stone. They're obviously new to coming to the UK. They need to learn about British culture, they need to learn the language. It's new for them perhaps to board, and therefore we provide that stepping stone to a destination school in the UK.
I think it's new to them from A to Z. Because that's what we discussed also, that even the way lessons are run are completely different to how it's done in Russia. Completely, because there's no that wall between the teacher and the student, and they love it completely.
Exactly, because we have very small classes, so there'll be a maximum of 8 students in our English class, maximum of 12 students in our other subject classes. So the teacher knows each student individually, has a good rapport with them, can work with them to improve specific problems or issues that they have with their language or in their subjects. And also the techniques that they use are based on Western style classroom teaching, so there's lots of interactivity.
Exactly.
It's very student-centered and sometimes led by the students, particularly after they've done a few weeks of the course. So they gain a lot of independence, a lot of confidence in using their English in an academic situation, as well as using it within their subjects as well.
That's a very good term, student-centered. That's something I think Russian system educational should be adapted as well, because it does make a lot of difference in my opinion, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So a lot of our program is organised around the students themselves when they first arrive. So we do a lot of organising, placement testing. I interview, or Lorraine interviews each student individually.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So we know exactly what the student needs before they arrive, and we can organise around that student to make sure that every class that they sit in is useful and relevant.
How big is the college? How many students do you have?
We have around 65 at the moment, but we do have capacity for more later on. So we are expanding the college just a little bit. So we don't want to have too many students here, so we lose that individual focus and that family feel. But we do have a few more students arriving each term.
I think this is one of your main strengths, being small, individual attention to everyone. You probably, Lorraine, being a principal of the school, you probably know everyone by name, isn't it?
Every single member of the staff who works here, whether they are part of the housekeeping team, whether they're a teacher, a boarding team, everybody knows every student. so that if there is a problem, it comes directly to us and we can deal with that problem immediately.
Would you say that do you feel yourself like a mother in a way, figure?
Yeah, I mean very much so. I keep in contact with parents, I keep in contact with agents. I am used to them contacting me whenever. It is very much that we want that child, their child, to do well, and we want them to really progress very quickly so that they can reach their potential.
The college itself, I think this is your main topic, is actually, you did mention this already, is that step which they have to make, isn't it, before going into classical boarding in British schools.
Yeah.
And some students, some parents, they sometimes try to jump over that step. And in my opinion, it's a big mistake. In many cases, not in all. Some kids are capable of jumping over it,
Yeah.
but most of them aren't. And that's what the college is all about. Am I correct to say that?
No, you're absolutely right. So often, if a student does jump that step, they won't really find out that they have missed it until it's too late, until they've already spent so many years on a course and then they take the final exam. So what Bishopstrow do, we fill that gap. So we make sure that their English is of the appropriate level, that they're familiar with the subjects and the topics that they'll study at each key stage in the English education system.
Yeah.
So when they arrive at that school, they're well prepared, they're at the right level, so they'll make sure that they're succeeding when they get to their end of course exams.
I think it's also very stressful for kids going straight into British schools. Can you imagine sitting with British students, even knowing good English?
Yes, I mean we try to teach them how to compete in the classroom with British students, so that they have that confidence that they can not only write an argument, but they can vocalise it in the correct academic manner and don't feel overwhelmed by a British native speaker in the classroom.
Very important. So it's like skills of debate or something? Yeah?
Yeah, so it'd be debating skills, essay writing skills, incorporating research into what they're writing and what they're talking about in their debates, but also independent study skills, computer literacy, make sure all of these elements are included in our course, integrated into what we teach, so when the student gets to their next school, they're able to use them effectively.
You know, those skills are very important, but we also must remember that they're coming from homes, from their family care, and we were laughing with those kids because I asked them a question about taking shower every day, and what happens if someone doesn't like taking shower every day. They're encouraged to do so, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they get into the routine. You prepare them for that life, for following some rules which they will be facing when they join other schools, isn't it?
Well, our boarding team work very hard with them on not only activities, but making sure that, like you say, like they shower, they put their laundry out, they understand how the laundry system works, how they live in a community, because many students might come from perhaps a family where they're the only child, or maybe just have one other sibling, and life is obviously very different than living in a community like this. But it's a step-by-step process.
But discipline is still important, right? Discipline within the school.
Yeah, so we have a behaviour policy that's based on rewarding good behaviour, and that's our main focus. So we organise our students into houses, which is very typical of a traditional British school, and they will win house points based on their good behaviour. We also identify poor behaviour and we help students adapt to the rules of the school.
So there's a rewarding system as well, some punishment system there as well?
Yes, but the reward system is certainly on top of that. The punishment system is only used as a last resort.
As a last resort, I understand. Another point which kind of differ you from other schools is that you're quite flexible in terms of periods of study, right? So you have even 5 weeks courses and stuff, isn't it? So for those who are maybe even chose the school already, they can come here over the summer, because now we're in July now and you're full running school, right? So they can potentially come and do that 5 short-term course?
We can offer a pre-sessional course, which is a 5-week course, like you said, that's a precursor to going into a British boarding school. We can offer a full term, and within our school year we're very different from many other schools because we operate on 4 terms per year.
Not 3, 4.
4.
Okay.
So usually what most schools consider to be the summer holiday is our term 4.
Okay.
And that is an ideal beginning.
So are you saying is that do you have only September starts?
You can start whenever you like.
Whenever you like, and it will take you into the cycle.
Yes.
So it can be January, can be summer, yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's also that flexibility is very good.
Chris tests, and we understand that some students will need more preparation than others, and so it is very bespoke as to what a student needs.
So at the beginning you identify the program, isn't it?
Yeah, so either one of us would interview a student when they first arrive, or before they arrive even, and from that we can ascertain their English language level. We would look at their program of study and their objective at the end of the course, and we can plan out what they need to do, how long they need to spend at the college before they'll be ready to take entrance exams for their next school or be ready to join that particular key stage.
But during that, for instance, you still reassess?
We're constantly assessing in the classroom. We also have standardized points of assessment throughout the term, where students will be measured on their progress in English language, in maths on a very regular basis, and in all of their subjects at 2 points through each term. That's all reported on 3 points throughout each term for a new student, and then at 2 points for each term as a student progresses through into their 2nd, 3rd or 4th terms.
Laura and Chris, I'm very pleased that you invited me. Pleased for coming here because it's very important to get that feel. It's very difficult to understand the atmosphere, to feel the atmosphere being somewhat miles away, thousands of miles for some parents, isn't it? And I'm pleased that I had the chance to speak to, was it 8 in total, lovely students, Russian-speaking students of this college. Really good feedbacks that we spoke as well.
Thank you very much for coming.
I can see if we send you students, they will be in very capable, professional hands. So thank you very much for inviting me once again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Should we go see the rest of the college?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Okay? All good. Right? Yeah.